So apparently you can catch the coronavirus twice. August 24, 2020, WebMD says researchers in Hong Kong say they confirmed that a person can be infected with COVID-19 twice. There have been sporadic accounts on social media sites of people who say they've gotten COVID twice, but scientists have been skeptical about the possibility, saying there's no evidence it happens. Well, new proof comes from a 33-year-old man in Hong Kong who first caught COVID-19 in March. He tested for the coronavirus after he developed a cough, sore throat, and a fever, a headache for 3 days. Stayed in the hospital until he twice tested negative for the virus in mid-April. On August 15th, the man returned to Hong Kong from a recent trip in Spain, the UK, and he tested positive for the virus twice. And that's just terrible. I had the coronavirus, and it's one of the worst things that I had ever been through in my whole life. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. Just to give you a little background on my situation, I had the virus back in April, and what happened to me was I came down with flu-like symptoms at the end of March and had a constant cough that wouldn't go away. So I figured, hopefully anyway, it's just a regular, seasonal flu or, allergy or something like that. But no, it ended up being the coronavirus. And for 7 days, I sat at home trying to nurse myself back to health. Me and my wife both had the disease. The first thing I say, that Sunday, I started feeling terrible. And then Monday, I was feeling even worse. But every day from Monday all the way up until that following Friday, I had to begin feeling progressively better than I did in the beginning, which made me thought, okay, well, I must have like the regular flu or something, feeling much better. That Friday, I spoke to people and I was walking around fine, no problems whatsoever. And I told my loved ones that, I just got over the flu. That following night, that Saturday morning, I woke up and I could barely walk to the bathroom. I had problems breathing, couldn't catch my breath, felt extremely weak. Just when I thought that I had been over the flu and I had recovered completely, all of a sudden it's like I had got sick all over again. And my wife was going through basically the exact same thing. So that Saturday morning, she says, all right, well, I'm going to go in to see a doctor and get tested for coronavirus because this might be the case. She goes in. They couldn't confirm it right then and there. But what they said was, hey, you have pneumonia in one of your lungs. So already I knew, hey, if she's got pneumonia, I was sick first, I probably have pneumonia. I go late that night to the hospital. And once I got there, it was extremely hard for me to even walk into the place. I was dizzy, feeling lethargic, feeling like I was gonna pass out basically. Luckily, this hospital that I went to, they were pretty fast. They got me in. I saw someone, they took my oxygen levels, and the doctor said, okay, well, yeah, we're gonna have to call 911, which freaked me out because I'm in an emergency room. What do you mean you're gonna call 911? I'm already in the emergency room. But no, they called an ambulance who came and rushed me to another hospital. And once I got there, I told the doctor what happened, all my symptoms. They swabbed my nose, and that was one of the weirdest tests that I've ever been through. It felt like somebody reset my brain and took me in and had me hooked on basically 15 liters of oxygen for the first 4 days. And once I got there, it seemed like once they confirmed that I did have coronavirus, it got worse. I had a situation where I was coughing up blood basically for the first 2 days, 3 days, and then it progressively, with all of the medicines that they was giving me, changed over to regular just coughing. And I ended up being in the hospital hooked up with oxygen for 7 days. But a friend of mine who's a personal trainer suggested that I not stand still, not sit there and just allow the virus to, do its job. And I became active. I just became extraordinarily active. I made sure I got up and walked around and moved around. I kept my spirits high. I never for a second thought to myself, yeah, this, it's bad and it's not looking good. I refuse to do any of that. So that was it. 7 days later, I came out of the hospital, and about a week after that, I spoke to my doctor, and we did a few additional tests. I had tested positive for the antibodies, and this is what makes this situation sad, because the way my doctor said it to me was, hey, you tested positive for the antibodies, you should be fine. You shouldn't be able to get this disease anymore. But if this person in China or wherever, if this person had tested positive twice for it, then that means I still have to remain extraordinarily vigilant, which I have anyway. I've taken a couple of trips and done a few things, but I made sure that I social distance and wear a mask and clean my hands and keep hygiene and everything where it should be. But in the back of my mind, there was still this hope that I already had the disease, I won't get it again. But it's looking like no. It's still very much possible for you to get the coronavirus. Now, there's different kinds of coronaviruses from people that I know. I had an aunt who had the disease, and she, for about 3 weeks, was just really weak. She never got a cough, never got pneumonia. But she was extraordinarily weak with like muscle fatigue. And also she had a situation where, a fever. So, and for her also, she said it's one of the worst things that she ever been through. Now, I had a friend who had basically that, but it only lasted for 3 days. He had muscle fatigue and just, feeling really heavy and lethargic. But for him, it only lasted 3 days. So it affects everybody differently. Obviously, things like obesity and pre-existing conditions come into play, and it's unfortunate, but it might be something that's with us from now on instead of a one-shot deal. I'm not sure I'd take any vaccines or anything, but it might be the new normal.